Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Or this is the brother Tawab Shah from GMS Los Angeles / Inland Empire. Come back with another video in the spirit. And once again, Tawab Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, for opening my eyes to this truth. Allow me to wake up another day, putting the spirit on me to do another lesson in hopes to edify the hopeful elect. Okay, so in this video, real quick, just another quick hit. This thing is about being a doer of the word. It's not just about, hearing, being a hearer, because a lot of our people that find out that they're Israelites, they have a lot of them have a false perception of what this truth is about. They see these guys out here on the highways and byways. A lot of these guys, not affiliated with Great Millstone. It's a lot of upstarts. You see the IUICs, the IGBKs, so on and so forth. There's a lot of madness going on. There's a lot of false doctrines being pushed. Okay, you got these clowns that go by Genesis, with Hassad and Hakah, pushing this madness about that the Gentiles or the Gentiles that's spoken of as far as receiving salvation, receiving the promises, which we know are the Israelite foreigners, okay, because the Lord's not dealing with any other nation, but these individuals are pushing that bullshit that the other nations can make it, basically have the same, partake in the same promise as the Israelites, and that's not going to happen, okay? But anyway, getting back to the point of the video, this thing is about being a doer, so you brothers out there that's coming across this information, that's watching the videos, okay, or you may come out to the camp and listen to brothers speak and bring out the scriptures. Take this thing serious, man. Okay, this is not no joke. Okay, we're not out there to entertain our people. We're out there to edify, teach our people. Okay. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna bring out these few scriptures, and Lord willing, I pray this is edifying. So, the first scripture I'm gonna start with is James chapter 1, verse 22. It says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." Because a lot of our people, they come out, a lot of our people, even they walk by the camp, they drive by the camp, they may know that. They may even know that they're Israelites, okay? But they're not being doers of the word. They're not keeping the commandments, the law, statute, commandments. Those are the ones that we can keep. That's within our control here. A lot of our people, they know they're Israelites, but they're not really following after the Lord. Okay, they doing whatever they think is feasible in their mind in serving the Lord. They haven't really submitted themselves to the will of the Lord, and the scriptures speak about that. They go about to establish their own righteousness, okay? And the Lord is not dealing with that, man. That's why when the Lord returns, a lot of our people, they're going to get judged, okay? Especially those that know that they're Israelites, okay? All right, it says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves," because you're only deceiving your own self. You're not fooling nobody. You're not fooling the Lord, okay? Nobody's fooling the Lord, man. Okay, so if you're not really sincere about this thing, you're not really trying to get right with the Lord, because that's what it's about, because we all went off against the Lord. And this is the opportunity Lord has given us to get in his good graces, man. To find favor with the Lord. Okay, especially these times that we're heading into. Okay, so this ain't no thing where you take and you squander it. Take this thing for granted and you just bullshit with it, man. This thing is deadly serious. Okay, it says, "For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in the glass." Right, you that same old nigga that's in the world. Okay, if you're not really taking this thing serious, man, if you just listening, but you really not taking the things that you were hearing to heart and actually making that, putting that effort and making that change, actually applying what the scriptures say, you're only deceiving yourself, like as it says. Okay, it says, "For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was." Right, because you got a lot of these individuals, that know they're Israelites. They go out there, they put on the show. They have this uh gate about them, as if they're super deep. They know every goddamn thing. They have this very arrogant way about them, and they forget what this thing is about. How can you be proud? How can you have your head in the clouds? And we on the bottom right now. Our nation is on the bottom. Okay. When you look at the majority of our people, majority of our people, they're lost, man. Jake is just through out here, man. Okay. So how the hell can you be proud? But that, like it says, those of our people that don't take this thing serious, you're only deceiving yourself, man. You're not fooling the Lord. Okay. It says, "But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed." Right. Those that hear this, because we all started as hearers, because you got to be taught, right? We all had to be taught this truth. Okay. So we went from being taught, now we're out there actually teaching. Now we're teachers ourselves. Now we're out there, doing the work of the Lord. We're not just sitting by and just hearing. Now we're involved. Now we're putting in work. And that's what this thing about. You got to put in work, man. Okay. When you go home and you watch the videos, take notes. When you take notes, actually go into the scriptures, read the scriptures. That's laboring. That's you putting forth the work. Putting that work in. To keep yourself sharp. That's why we do these shows. That's why we go out there to the highways and byways, man. And those of you that take that for granted, that's gonna be on you when all hell breaks loose, and because we ain't gonna be out there forever, man. Okay, we're not gonna be on the streets forever teaching. Okay, once the Lord say that's it, that's a wrap. So you better get this thing while you can. Get it for yourself, man. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Okay. All right, I got another one. This is James chapter 2, verse 18. It says, "Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works." Right, because faith and works go hand in hand. You can't have faith with no works, because your works is going to manifest the faith that you have towards the Lord. Because in order to have faith, you got to have works, and in order to have works, you got to have faith. So they both go hand in hand. You know, one don't you can't have one without the other. All right, it says, thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble, but wilt thou but Slocky, but wilt thou Slocky, but wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead. Right. So faith without works is dead. Your faith doesn't mean anything if it's not backed by any works. Okay, and that's why we say, you know, a lot of our people don't really understand what this thing is about. You know, a lot of our people, they just want to give lip service, man. You know, Jake on the comment board leaving comments on it. You know, when you look at these other camps, they got all these views, they got all these people leaving comments, and I guarantee you, most of them people on there, they ain't got no works of their own. Okay, a lot of these guys that be coming on different brothers' comment boards from time to time, you know, saying what they got to say, you know, talking shit. You know, you go on these guys' channels, you know, they have no works at all. So how the hell you gonna come on a brother channel? Brothers clearly doing the work of the Lord. Brothers clearly out there on the highways and byways. Okay, he brother out there putting his hand to the plow. You know, putting his best foot forward, and you over here talking shit, and you ain't got no works. Okay, so this is what this is about, man. Okay, the Lord's gonna judge everybody according to their own works in this thing, man. Okay, and that's gonna show you how much faith an individual really has, man. By the by the works that they have, man. Okay. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. It says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." You see that? So the Lord is going to judge all of us according to our works. So if you ain't got no works to go along with your faith, okay, you ain't really taking this thing serious. You know, you was out there bullshitting. The Lord's going to judge you accordingly, man. Okay? So this thing ain't about riding another man's coattail. It ain't about, you know, being a man pleaser. It's about you being sincere, you serving the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua with fear and trembling, man. Knowing that, you know, this thing is deadly serious, you know. You got to be sincere within your own self, man. You got to believe in this thing for yourself, you know. Even when, you know, your family that's around you don't believe, you know, or whoever, you know. This gotta be within you, you know. And Lord willing, we always say it, Lord willing, we all be of that election, man. You know, because that's what it's all going to boil down to at the end of the day. Anyway, you know, it's all about the elect. You know, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the point. Like I said, real quick to the point. Pray this is edifying to you, sincere brethren, as well as you few sincere sisters out there that's actually, you know, genuinely, you know, seeking the Lord, seeking after Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. You know, so yeah, pretty much that's it. So with that, I'm gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakwadash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing this word in truth, sincerity. Shalom, shalom.